TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. A Barcelona news roundup coming up for you today, and it's coming up because there is lots to discuss on the Barcelona front. We've got a brand new signing. We're going to be talking here about the new Portuguese forward who's going to be joining Barça, Francisco Trincão. We're also going to be talking about the Copa del Rey, who we're going to be facing in the next round, and of course, looking back to last night's action against Leganes when Barcelona won by 5-0. It's all coming up. Reaction right here. Let's do it. But if we start straight away with our next opponents in the Copa del Rey, the quarter-final draw has been made this afternoon, and Barcelona face a very, very difficult game. It's Athletic Club, and it's away. Really, really tough test there. San Mamés is such a difficult place to go. We've already seen that this season. On the opening day, of course, we lost away at Athletic. We're going to have to go there now in the Cup, and it does remain, still at this stage, just the one leg. So away from home, it's not going to be easy. That's going to be a big, big test there. But what it will show us is it's going to be fascinating to see the differences, perhaps, to what we saw there in the opening match of the season and how we could do next week. In the midweek, that game is going to be coming. We have to look forward to it. Embrace the test. But if we move on here to some reaction to last night's performance in progressing past Leganes in the round of 16 stage, and in particular the way that we did it, and the reaction here in Spain has certainly been a very good feeling. On MD's cover they said yes, just like that, and on Sport there, focusing there on the 5 goals and breathe. Both papers there very, very happy with the scoreline, happy with the goals that Barcelona scored, and in particular both of them focusing there on the change of system that we saw from Setien last night, reverting back there to our traditional 4-3-3 formation as opposed to the 3-5-2 that we've seen from Quique Setien so far. And I do actually want to bring you there the thoughts of Setien himself on that change, because it's interesting here to see his thoughts. He said we changed our formation to a 4-3-3 because we understood that we would do better in attack and also in defence because of the way that Leganes play. He said 3-5-2, it's possible that we will see it again. It may not be gone forever. The formation could change many times, and also in the games you may see changes. And the most important thing that I feel he said, I think we've done a lot of things well tonight. We played well. We did some things that I asked of the team, but he said, I'm not completely satisfied. And that's what we want. Because last night, Barcelona won by 5 goals. And in any usual circumstance, you would say there, that's an unbelievable performance. That's an incredible display. Everything is perfect. 5-0 is exactly what you want. But none of us are saying that. We all acknowledge here that 5-0 last night was very good. It gives Quique Setien more time. I'm glad that we scored goals. But of course, it still wasn't perfect. And it's really nice for me right now that we have a coach who also believes in that. He also won't stop until it's absolutely right. And we may have won 5-0, but you can guarantee there the players are back in training, that Setien there was already working on the next stage. And that's what we're seeing here. We're going to see a process that will hopefully improve. And that at Barcelona, that's exactly what we've been crying out for. But just like we spoke about in the match review, it wasn't just the attitude there of the coach which impressed me last night. It was also the influence Setien had on the attitude of the players. Because against Ibiza, I felt as though the players who came in didn't really up their level. They didn't really perform that well to prove themselves to Setien and get themselves back in the team. And I think there, the fact those players were not straight away there into the lineup after the way they played against Ibiza, it made everybody realise that if you're going to play in this game, if you're going to be called upon, you need to step up. And I think yesterday we saw a raise in level from Nelson Semedo. I think we saw Clement Longley playing much, much better. And that's what you want to see. You want to see players who realise when they're given their chance, you've got to take it. And if you don't take it, you still won't be in the team. That's the way that it has to work. Every player there should be picked up on merit. And last night, we saw the hunger from the players. That's the kind of attitude that we need to see. Game in, game out. Players pushing themselves to the absolute maximum and showing that relentless nature. They could have stopped at 2-0. They could have stopped at 3-0. They could have let Leganes back in the game, as we've seen so many times over the past few months and few seasons at Barcelona, but they didn't do that. They kept coming and coming and coming with more and more goals. And that, for me, regardless of the opposition, it's a great attitude to have. But as we approach the transfer deadline, if we now do move on to the transfer latest, Barcelona, like I say, have announced a signing already. But in terms of this January transfer window, nobody is going to be arriving. Quique Setien is not going to have any extra additions to his squad. And of course, Carlos Perez, Todibo, they've departed this month. So if anything, we've actually weakened our squad in the January transfer window. However, Quique Setien was pretty calm calm when he was asked about it after the game. He said no signings coming in. He said, I'm calm right now. He did say, though, it will get a little bit risky if we have some injuries, but he said, above all else, I trust the players we have. And in particular, he focused on Dembele. He said very soon we're going to have Dembele to call upon. He will help us a lot. He said he's got very special qualities, and we're going to help him find his very best form. Dembele can help us. He feels comfortable on either wing. He will help us a lot. And unfortunately, we couldn't bring somebody in. That, for me, of course, is disappointing. I think we did need a forward. There's no mistake about that. You look at our forward options right now, and one injury, even two injuries, that would absolutely obliterate our squad, and that is worrying. No two ways about it. We are concerned here with the options that we have in those forward areas. But what I'd also like to say is, I'm glad that we haven't wasted money. I'm glad that we haven't gone out there and brought somebody in just for the sake of it. The club clearly did try. They couldn't get anything over the line. They couldn't bring in anybody who really suited what they wanted. And that, for me, is at least a little bit encouraging, because we shouldn't be chasing players that don't suit Barcelona, that are going to be too much money, and we haven't wasted that money now. What we can do is go again in the summer, look at our options, and bring in the right person. That's the most important thing. But in terms of the player that we have signed, who won't be arriving in January, but he'll be arriving there in the summer transfer window, we now have to move on to the unknown quantity of Francisco Trincão, who's a Portuguese international. Barcelona have agreed a deal there to sign him from Braga, and he will join the club there on the 1st of July 2020. He'll spend the remainder of the season there at his club in Braga, and then join up with the first team in the summer transfer window. And the transfer fee for this one is 31 million euros. It's not a cheap one. This is a pretty big deal from Barcelona, and I do believe there that was the player's release clause in Braga, and a number of other clubs were also monitoring that release clause. And Trincao there will sign a contract for the next 5 seasons. When he does sign in July, he'll sign there until the end of the 2024-25 season, and he will have there a 500 million buyout clause. And in terms of the Portuguese media, and in terms of the followers of Portuguese football, he's regarded there as the next big thing in Portuguese football, and that's a good thing, because they've had many good attackers over the years, and he's somebody, you look at him, you look at his stats, you look at his build, he is somebody who does have good qualities there to play in a forward line. He is naturally a winger. On the right, on the left, he can play on both wings, but he is predominantly there pretty left-footed. And this season you have seen him for Braga play on the right-hand side and quite often cut in. Early comparisons right now are being made with Riyad Mahrez of Manchester City, somebody there who often plays on the right-hand side, but you continually see him cut in on that left and do some serious damage. And Trincao this season has been a really key part. He's established himself in the Braga first team. This season he played 21 games for them. He scored 3 goals and provided 6 assists. And in terms of watching highlights of him, you can clearly see there is talent. He's quick, he's strong, he's tall as well. He's got all good attributes there for a very good player. But what I'm going to do here, before going too in-depth in, before looking at him in too much detail, I'm going to focus very much on his performance and his progress for the rest of the season. And then in the summer, we're going to do this again. We're going to talk there about what Trincao can bring, where he's going to play, is he going to come into the starting lineup, into the first team squad. We're going to be looking at all of those things once we've assessed him a bit more. But of course, he's delighted there to make the move. And in terms of international football, he has already been involved there in the Portuguese underage team. He's only turned 20 there back in December, so he's certainly a very young player with a lot more to come, I'm sure. And he already represents there Portugal at under 21 level. And you may have actually heard of him because he was somebody who at the under 19 European Championships back in 2018, he was really highly rated. Portugal won that tournament, and Trincao finished as the top goal scorer with 6 goals and the top assister there with 3. So he does seem as though somebody who can get involved in both areas. His passing quality looks very good. I've seen a few of his through balls, a few of his crosses. He does look there like he has some very good technique, and also in front of goal, cutting in on that left foot. He's strong, he can get into good positions, and he has scored some very good goals. Watch this space. We don't know what to make of him yet. It is a big transfer fee, 31 million euros, but he is regarded as a very big talent. But let's see what happens. With these kind of deals, it's not the most Barcelona deal ever. We don't usually do these kind of deals here. Big deals for youngsters. But let's wait and see what happens. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Have you seen Trincao? What do you make of him? What do you think that he can bring to the Barcelona setup? Let me know all of those thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you soon, of course, with more videos. Coming up tomorrow, the Barcelona versus Levante match preview. The games right now, they are relentless. Let's hope that on Sunday, we're exactly the same on the pitch. I will see you then, guys. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça.
Barça.